right, everything worked in one button today. Hello, welcome. How's everybody doing? Happy Thursday. Yes, it is Thursday. If I'm sitting here talking to you, it must be Thursday. My name is Kathleen, and I'm here as your tech coach. For those of you who have not been here before, I am here because technology is my hobby and my job. And because of that, everybody I know asks me tech questions, which is totally fine. I love it. But I've come to realize that not everybody has somebody to ask those questions of, so that's why I'm here. So every week I'm here at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Periscope and on Facebook, eventually YouTube. And I usually bring a topic so that we have a starting point, but you are always welcome to bring your own comments, your own questions. Anything tech related is always welcome here, so please don't be shy. Go ahead and jump into the comments and say what you have to say. If you are watching this on a replay and or on Periscope, well, obviously on Facebook you can go ahead and put comments in as I do go back and check. But if you are on Periscope, obviously you can only comment during the show, which actually I should bring up Periscope just to make sure everything's working. Hang on. Oh wait, Facebook is not really live. Hang on. Thanks for the warning. Okay, let me see if I can bring this up again. It could just be that it needed a refresh, but I'm just going to double check. If not, I will have to stop and restart because Facebook's been a little wonky. It's been Facebook, right? What can you say? Facebook is doing its Facebook thing. Okay, the dog is tearing apart something. I don't know what. This is going to be how this goes. All right, so I should just admit up front, if you hear me making deep sighs, if you see me wincing, it is not you. It's me. This afternoon when I was walking the dog, I fell hard in front of an audience. So I am actually in a lot of pain right now. And so that's why I may be making funny noises. And I may be just a little distracted because it really, really hurts. Everything I touch right now hurts. But that's life, right? The show must go on. Okay, so Facebook is up. All right, cool. Cool beans. All right, let me bring it up so I can see comments. And I can also see your comments over here on Periscope. So life is pretty good. Falling in front of a large group of people notwithstanding. I will say the children are clearly our future. I fell down in front of a group of people. The only people who came over to see if I needed help were the children. All the adults stood there and watched. Anyway, so let's get the ball rolling. Now that we have all the pieces in place and I have explained why I may be a little off tonight. All right, let me get this started and it will flow more smoothly from there. Hang on. All right, hello and welcome. For those of you who are new here, my name is Kathleen and I am your tech coach. If you have any questions or comments, you can always reach out to me here at yourtechcoach.net or on Twitter at your_techcoach. If you leave out the underscore, you'll be talking to somebody else. I hope that you are all having a great day and that you are ready to dive in on today's topic, which I know it does not sound like the most happy topic, but actually, like anything else in life, it's all about how you approach it and how you deal with it. And the quick trick here is, yes, you do need to answer it. Ilmaz, I'm sorry, I'm not getting your username right over on Periscope. Thanks so much for joining. Glad to have you here. Okay, so let's dive in. So whether you're a business, an organization, a group, whatever, no matter how big or small you are, sooner or later, somebody's going to have something nasty to say. That's just the way it is. It would be nice if everything was all sunshine and roses 24/7, but that's not life, right? We live in the real world. So first, before we go too far into the topic at all, let's identify the kind of people who leave bad reviews, right? So, to be honest, number one are trolls. Trolls just like to stir up trouble anywhere they can, whether it's, in a live stream like this, if it's on your blog, answering, weird blog posts, answering your blog posts with weird questions or making strange comments. They go and spread their vile everywhere they want to. So just keep in mind that, no matter where you are, sooner or later trolls are going to enter your life. And the number one rule is don't feed the trolls. The next one, unfortunately, happens, but hopefully not too often. But sometimes it's your competitors who leave the bad reviews. Sad but true. Sometimes they do it themselves. Sometimes they have their employees do it. Sometimes they hire companies to do that because unfortunately, there are companies out there who will do that. They will go ahead and leave the bad comments. They don't do this, okay? They don't do the nice follow and giving, hearts and likes and sharing and all that kind of stuff, which, the majority of people will do. But when it comes to, business, some people think that there, are no rules and will just go ahead and do this kind of thing. So just keep that in mind as a possibility. Then there are the people who are just never going to be happy no matter what. You could give them the best product, the best service. You could do everything exactly right. Some people are just unhappy or having a bad day. Okay. And that is going to land on you, even though it is not deserved. Unfortunate, but true. And in those cases, okay, the ones that I mentioned so far, there's not a lot you can do, right? I mean, you be aware of them, evaluate the responses that you're getting, to see if it is any of those. And the tips I'm going to give you in a minute will help a little bit, but, it's those people are just going to happen. And then finally, there are the real people with real issues. Now, look, we are all human, right? No matter, how hard we try, we're going to have bad days, a bad product's going to come off the line, there's going to be miscommunications, that kind of thing. It's unfortunate, but we have to own it, right? Because it's our business, it's our group, it's our organization. So at the end of the day, we do have to own the things that we do wrong, even though they were unintentional, even though everything else had gone perfectly before and after that. That one moment in time may be that person's only experience with you, and so they're going to leave a bad comment. It's important to remember, as you're doing this, that these things are not personal, except maybe in the case of a competitor making these kinds of comments. And because that is your initial reaction, okay? When somebody says something negative, we tend to make it personal, make it about us. And that's not the case. They're angry or they're upset about something, okay? And whether it's directed at you or not, it's not necessarily about you. Obviously, if you have gone out of your way to pick a fight with a customer or a client or whatever, okay, in that case, it probably is you. And you're having a bad moment because you're human too. So that is all going to happen. But those are the typical reasons, the typical types of people who are going to leave those kinds of reviews. Jason, how you doing? Thanks for swinging by. So then one other thing before we get into what you can do, I do want to just remind you of the other fact of life, and that is happy people tend not to leave reviews. Neutral people tend not to leave reviews. It's the unhappy people, the people with an axe to grind, the people who don't feel like they're being heard, whatever, those are the ones who leave the bad reviews. So this is something to keep in mind when you are looking at reviews, right? When you're evaluating a group, a service, a product, a restaurant, a store, whatever. If you're going online to check their reviews first, that's great. Nothing wrong with that. We all do that. It does give you another piece of information outside of their marketing information. But you do need to keep in mind that any bad reviews you see, it's liable to be on the higher end just because that's who complains. Okay? It's something to keep in mind. It's something I try to keep in mind. I've been making a point of it this year. I've been trying to remember every time I have a good experience to go and post something about it. I also try to thank the person, in person if we're having an in-person encounter, or by email if that's an option. But I do try to remember to go back, once a week. I try to go in and leave the good comment for the good products and services because I'm trying to not be that person who never leaves a comment unless they're unhappy. Okay, so that's how it goes. So, it's not fair at all that's how it goes, but you're dealing with people and you're not going to change people, so we just have to deal with these things. It's how life goes, right? All right, so let's dive in on, I'm sorry, I do want to check on comments. All right, yeah, I know, right? I mean, it is unfortunate. It is unfortunate that is how people are, but it's silly to expect anything different, right? So this is why you do need to have a plan when you're running your business, your organization, what have you, whether you're one person or you're, a million person company, you have to have a plan so that when these things happen, you have a way of dealing with it. So let's start with the don'ts because we like to get those out of the way. So the very first don't is probably the most important, okay? And that is don't get defensive. It does not help. If anything, it adds fuel to the fire. So make sure that as you're going through them, even if they're upsetting, and they're going to be, we're human, right? We don't want to see bad things about us or the work we do or the services we provide. Do not get defensive. Okay, to me, that's tied directly to don't take it personally, because that tends to be where the defensive response comes from. So do that. The other side of the coin is you can't really ignore them. Okay, now that doesn't mean that you have to respond to each and every one. Okay, you can be selective about it, and hopefully you don't have that many, so that's not really a problem to answer every one of them. But whichever way that pendulum swings for your life, make sure that you are keeping it professional, okay, and that you are dealing with the not so nice side of running a business, right? Okay, there's things we don't like to do. Maybe that's cleaning the bathroom. Maybe that's, dealing with the accountant, whatever it is, that just add this onto the list of, cost of doing business. I have to do these things that I don't necessarily enjoy, aren't the reason I got into whatever it is I'm doing. It still has to be dealt with, okay? The next don't is do not get pulled into an online battle. Again, you cannot improve the situation that way. You certainly will not come off looking good. So you do not want to go that route, okay? So those are the big don'ts, okay? So you're not going to take it personal. You're not going to get defensive about it. You're not going to ignore it, okay? You're going to look at it, evaluate it, and then we'll talk about the plan of action. There also may be valuable information in it, right? It may be information that maybe you wouldn't have gotten any other way. Again, not pleasant, but maybe it will help you improve. So that's a good thing. And don't get pulled into an online battle, okay? You just will not win, okay? If you get into mudslinging, you will be wearing the mud too. So just don't go there. So let's talk about what you can do. And believe it or not, there are some things. But I want to get the other ones out of the way, okay? So you're going to, first reaction is going to be, I want that deleted, okay? You can try, okay? But if it's a third party place, which is where these things usually happen, the odds are very, very low that you're going to get anybody to remove it for you. So accept that, make your decision. You're also going to hear from, sooner or later, a reputation management company, okay? There's all kinds of people out there selling all kinds of snake oil. And this is another one. So this is right there with the Nigerian prince who's going to send you money if you do things. No. Reputation management companies claim all kinds of superpowers, connections, tricks, tips, okay, that they can go in and they can make your reputation shiny new again. No, okay? All they're going to do is take your money and waste your time, so don't bother. So let's talk about the things you should do. You do want to react somehow, okay? Whether it's fixing a problem that does exist in your world or not, maybe if it's unwarranted or whatever. Regardless, your best course of action is to acknowledge the issue and apologize, even if you don't feel like you should apologize. Because as soon as you do that, you take a lot of the heat out of the negative review by just acknowledging the fact that you are open to input, that you are willing to acknowledge somebody else's point of view, okay, even if you don't agree with it. Maybe don't necessarily say that or say that very carefully, but by acknowledging it and apologizing it, sometimes you take like 80% of the wind out of the sails. So that's a good thing to do. When you are responding, keep things nice and professional. Make sure that you're using, good grammar, all that kind of good stuff. Okay, don't try to turn the bad review on the person. Don't get personal. Don't make snotty comments at them. It's not worth it. Address any legitimate issues, or just address the fact that they're upset. Sometimes that's just enough. Keep your online response short and sweet, okay? Acknowledge it. We'll talk about a couple other things you can do while you're doing it. But don't turn it into, war and peace, okay? It's not the time for the monologue, okay? You just want to acknowledge, you want to get that you want to tell that person that you're listening to them, that they're being heard, okay? But by doing that, you're also letting anybody who sees it know that you are engaged, you are working with your customers, you care, okay? And that is probably the most important message you can get out there. So when you are responding, it's okay and a really good idea to say, something along the lines of, really sorry that you had this bad experience, got a bad product, whatever. We work very hard to keep that from happening, but things happen and we're sorry that it happened to you, okay? You're putting good light on your company. You're putting a good light on your products and services while acknowledging the fact that things happen, right? So that's all fine. And that's coming across as honest and trustworthy, which is a very important thing. You want to make sure that you're being authentic and personal, okay? Don't write a cookie cutter response and just paste it everywhere. Okay, people very quickly go, cookie cutter. Nah, that's like having a robot do it. That's not what they want. They want connection from a human, and the people who are reading it, who may never type a word in that, review or comment area, are monitoring this, are watching, are looking for those patterns. And if they see that you've got, one response or maybe 2 or 3 responses that you use over and over again, and you don't ever address the actual issue being commented on, that's a problem. Make sure that you ask the bad reviewer questions. Collect information. First of all, that helps you test to see how authentic that issue might be. It also gives you more information so that you can actually maybe help resolve that issue for that person. And you can also, learn from it and again, seem more involved. Sorry, I lost track of I'm going off the top of my head here, so I got to get back online. Okay, so you want to, as part of your response, offer some resolution, some way for this person to get some sort of solution, some sort of feedback, some sort of resolution to their issue. I guess that's the best way to put this. So you can suggest, hey, contact us offline. Here's our support phone number. Here's our, support email address. Or, say, here's my email address. Contact me directly. I want to help you with this. Let's see what we can do to make this right. Hugely, hugely powerful. Now, the only thing I will warn you about is that if once you post a phone number or an email address online, you're also going to get all kinds of other pranksters. So maybe don't give your personal email address out. Okay, maybe set up an email box specifically for this. That is some sort of your name, whatever, but with something different so that it's only used for these kind of responses. If you're going to use a phone number, weigh that against the reality of getting just people calling for entertainment purposes. Maybe you can set up a special Google Voice email just for those. Just keep in mind that whatever route you take for this, however you suggest they get in contact, it's easier if they've done something in your shop. You can say, hey, come into the shop, we'll talk. But if it is an online situation, make sure somebody is monitoring those touch points every single day. If somebody takes the time to leave a bad comment or a review, if you then go and respond and suggest that they get in touch so that you can resolve it together, and then they do that and you don't follow up very quickly, that's just making it worse. So make sure that these are actively monitored. Somebody's getting back to them. Even if it's a situation where you're like, okay, we're looking into why that particular line of products, what went wrong on the line that day, tell them that. Hey, we're looking at it. We're doing the research. Thanks so much for the information. We will get back to you by this date, and then make sure you do. Or we will call you back on this date and make sure you do. That follow-up is key to resolving it. Okay. All right, so just some other points around the tone of all this. And again, for you people who are joining, I'm a little scattered at the moment. I do apologize for that. I had a pretty nasty fall today and I'm in a lot of pain. So it's making it a little hard to keep my focus today. All right, so let me just review how you should watch your tone and how you should be careful about how you say things to these people. So what you're trying to do here when you're handling the bad reviews is you're trying to be reactive. I'm sorry, you're not trying to not be reactive. You're trying to be responsive. See, I told you, brain's not really working well today. So you want to make sure that you're being responsive. You want to make sure that you're not just lashing out, okay, reacting from your emotions, that you are coming across professional, cool, calm, collected. That is absolutely critical. You have to watch the words that you're using. You got to watch the tone can come through so easily. And you have to keep in mind that when you're writing things, it's harder to pick up nuances. So you want to maybe go a little bit even farther, over towards the non-offensive, happy, upbeat, positive attitude so that you're not risking coming across negative. You want to apply the same approach that you would do if somebody walked up to you and made these comments, in your face. Okay, now hopefully you would take a step back from them, give them a chance to get it out, take a breath, let everybody settle down a little bit. That taking a breath moment is so critical because it takes things from up here and brings them back down a little bit. And that can make all the difference. You don't want to get into a screaming match. You're certainly, if you had a storefront, you're not going to have a screaming match with a customer in front of the other customers, right? I mean, I would assume that that's pretty much not how you're going to, get out of bed in the morning and say, this is what I'm going to do today. No, of course not. So if you are angry, okay, let's take it from that point. Let's say that whatever they wrote just lights your fire. You are unbelievably pissed off. You cannot believe that this is out there. Don't do anything. Step away from it. Wait 24, 48 hours. Okay? You'll do more harm with a fast, nasty message than you will with a well thought out approach, calmly written up a day or two later. So please make sure you do that. And make sure that you only address any legitimate concerns, perceived or not. Don't get caught up in any of the hyperbole that goes on. Don't get sidetracked into any other conversations that they're having. Keep it focused on that one issue, and that will help things go much, much easier. All right, so in the light of the fact that sitting here is actually painful, I'm going to recommend that you folks either throw comments or questions into Facebook and I will address them later, or you can reach out to me on the website, which is yourtechcoach.net, or if you prefer, you can reach out to me. Again, that's going too fast. You can reach out to me on Twitter at @your_tech_coach. I'm more than happy to answer tweets, direct messages, whatever, so that we can finish up this conversation for you. See, this is why I write stuff down. There is one other thing I'm going to bring up here because it occurs to a lot of people that it might be the best solution, right? I'm going to get my lawyer on this. Except in extreme cases of defamation of character or your business or whatever, you're not going to win there. Okay. All you're going to do is add fuel to the fire. You're going to, unfortunately, look guilty probably to a lot of the people, and you're going to waste a lot of money and time. So, like I said, is there an extreme case where maybe that is the only way to go? Of course, especially if it's a competitor and you can prove somehow that they actually, did it. But for the most part, lawsuits are not the answer, okay? Any more than angry responses are the answer. The other thing I want to just, before I wrap this up, I do want to remind you that, I know people work very, very hard at getting good reviews. They hold on very tightly to, their 4 or 5 star rating, and there is nothing wrong with that. Okay, working hard to keep your customers and your clients happy, to create the best possible experience you can for them. That's why we all get into business, right? That is absolutely perfect in what you should be doing. Don't freak out too much at something that feels to you like a tarnished star, okay, on your ratings, okay? So, whether it's the top is a 4 or a 5, let's say, you get 1 or 2 bad reviews, okay, and it takes it from a 5 to like a 4.8 or 4.5 or 4.2. Do not stress over those, okay? Reality is those actually probably, the overall ratio is better for you that way because people are a little suspicious of things that are too perfect or too negative. They want something in the high end middle, right? So while I understand why you are striving for that 5-star rating, and there's nothing wrong with striving for greatness at all, do not let it completely derail you if you come up, across reviews that take it down just a little bit, because in the long run, that may make all of the good reviews seem more real. So please, I've seen people have complete and utter meltdowns over this, and I hate to see it. It's just not worth it. The reality is nobody is going to make everybody on the planet happy. It's not possible. Somebody's always going to want something different, even if you gave them exactly what they asked for. Actually, 9 times out of 10, if you give somebody exactly what they asked for, they're unhappy, which is a whole other discussion. But please don't let that take the joy out of the work that you do. Just keep in mind that it's just keeping you more real. The other thing that I want to throw out here is that we talked about at the beginning that people don't tend to leave reviews when they're happy or neutral. They only tend to do it when they're unhappy. And that's not going to change. But you can give that a little nudge, okay? You can kind of boost that a little bit by simply asking. Now, I know that sounds weird. And I know that feels uncomfortable for a lot of people. And I understand that totally. And you may feel like you're putting your customer or your client in an awkward position, but there's ways to do it so that that won't be the case. And to be honest, I've never had anybody ask me for that I felt awkward about it, because I wasn't committing to anything. If anything, I felt embarrassed that I didn't think to do it myself. So that's probably the only real negative. But if you are not comfortable doing the direct ask, practice. You might get good at it. But there's other ways to do it. You can, print a little something on your receipt. Of course, every time I say this, I never have a receipt on the table. Any other time I have 10,000 receipts on my table. But you can just, all those receipts and invoice things, you can have a little thing at the bottom. Hey, if you're happy, go here and give a great review. We'd really appreciate it. Something like that. It's an easy way to do the ask. They're not going to do it every time. Not everybody's going to do it, but maybe you can bump your number of positive reviews up that way. You can do other things. You can do things like send them a little email after the fact, right? Say, hey, hope you're happy with your product. If you have any questions, let us know. If you're happy with it, please, think about giving us a little review. Don't make it a command. Don't make it a job. Just say, hey, it would really help us if you feel, so inclined to do that. You could do things like a little survey, maybe, after the product or service has been in their hands for a little while. And as a part of that, ask for feedback and say, hey, are you okay? If you're okay with us using this as positive feedback on our website, check this box. Okay, now that's not resolving the reviews on other sites like Yelp and Google and that kind of thing, but it does give you a way to collect some good, reviews to put on your website, which is a great thing to do also. Did I get all those good ones there? Yes. Okay, so there you go. That is the reality. It's going to happen. Don't stress out about it. Make sure that you deal with it calm, cool, professional manner, and do encourage your happy customers and clients gently to leave good reviews if they feel like they would like to do so. Alrighty, thank you all so much. I will be back, hopefully healed next week, Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on Facebook and on Periscope. For those of you who are interested, I usually do the Twitch post-show hangout session. I'm going to give that a try tonight. I don't know how long it's going to last, given what's going on here. But if you're curious, you want to come hang out, if you have questions, if you think of questions after I go off the air here, please don't hesitate. You can reach me over on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/YourTechCoach. You don't need to have an account if you want to come and hang out. But it's all fun and good over there. And I think that covers it. Yes, we're all good? Okay, so just a reminder, if you need me, this is where you can get a hold of me. If you have a question, if there's a topic you want me to cover on the show, please feel free to reach out. To be honest, that's where I get most of my ideas, including this one tonight. All right, everybody, have a good one. Thanks so much for suffering through this one with me. I do appreciate it. Tomorrow's going to hurt worse. The day after tomorrow should be a better day. I have to be practical about these things, right? The day you fall you don't feel good. The day after, you feel really bad. And then it starts to get better. So that's what I'm looking forward to. All right, folks, have a good one. Bye-bye. Oh, okay. I don't know why that happened. Let me try this. It's all how it goes, right? Real life is not always seamless or pretty. Bye. Why is the end not working? Because I didn't program